question is from Mariam Khan. She said that how important is for a woman to pursue her career if she couldn't do it because of marital or some other issues, what would be the greatest harm?
You know, this question keeps popping up in all of my sessions and wherever I go, especially students. And you see a lot of other developments on TV where women are being, more participative in how they're actually sacrificing a lot more just to pursue their career and become a little more on the competitive side of how they're actually taking an equal or more piece of the pie than their counterparts, which are male. So whenever I see this, I actually think that there has not been enough conscious thought put into what's actually going on in the world, and through this program you should actually address that to everyone, especially girls. Let me tell you how the system actually works in the whole planet, so that you can understand why is there such a big confusion on the lower levels of how we pay our psychology. The human system actually is driven by whichever is the most prevalent philosophy, and there's always going to be one. So whichever actually takes up the higher scaffolding in the hierarchy of intellectualism, people start to aggregate under it. In the late 15th, early 16th century, capitalism actually became the more practiced philosophy, and it took a little time, but now it is because when it came, socialism was at its peak, and later on socialism died its own death, and now after China and Russia, when they gave up socialistic philosophy, capitalism is the one philosophy that really calls the shots on what is the definition of success and how the word value is constructed inside a human mind as an individual and as community, and that shapes up the psychology of everybody underneath. And that's how the alpha status gets to the most powerful community in the world. That's with every animal. Now, since we are under capitalism, we actually define all the definitions of keywords, like which will drive the basic innate motivation of the individual. If, for example, in this case, career. Now, career, when we define it, we define it under a very capitalistic influence in terms of resource, money, and influence and power. And this is something which is a fruit of capitalistic philosophy. And that's where we better understand that this is the correct placement of this word career. Otherwise, before capitalism, people did have a career, but that career was not based on the kind of value capitalistic philosophy gives it. It was based on the kind of influence you're actually creating on the planet in terms of other resources like acumen and more organic value towards more welfare of other people. Now, I don't want to sound too much of go towards to the right. Let me just finish this so that we can understand that. Now, the more you're going to chase the capitalistic definition of career, the more you're going to have to sacrifice the real innate value of the human mind, which is your family and your sense of longingness and where you belong. And after the 40th year of your age, your career is not going to suffice for answering the inner questions. You need a family. You need your wife and kids. You need your husbands and kids to grow up and help you out throughout the rest of the journey. The capitalistic philosophy does not answer those questions. And that's why you can see that only 1% of the people actually have a career in the capitalistic sense. So the people are just struggling under them. And those people are not regular people. They have to sacrifice their families to go to the top of the food chain. And this is a very big price that they're paying. I wish more people sacrifice their career for their families. And these are smart women who do that in Pakistan. The smart men in the world, in Pakistan and wherever, they actually make that conscious choice to throw away the career, to construct a value system in their family. And this is something which you can see as evidence in the billionaires who are actually causing more followership, but innately they're way more depressed. If you plot the diagram of this disease of depression in socioeconomic classes, you'll find out that the higher you go in the socioeconomic class, the more depressed you are. And that's what capitalism actually, that's how capitalism connects with the flaws and does not answer to the basic questions of the inner psychology. And this is why I want you to understand that just because it seems as if this is a rational choice, it's not. You have to go deeper into the understanding the construct of the human system, internal system, then you'll find out that you made the best choice when you actually sacrificed a career or a family.
Yeah, but there are many other philosophies just like capitalism. How do you think then, how does these global philosophies are going to impact a local person like me or Mariam Khan, or likely to make a career or livelihood?
It's an excellent question. Let me tell you what's the science behind how the human design works quickly. Women and men, actually, you know what, look at it from all ancestral similarities. Every animal actually, they're not our ancestors, but you know, the make of the whole living, of the kingdom of Animalia is based on this one limbic solvent of serotonin. And once you understand how it works, you'll understand what is the power of philosophy. And you know what, because in every single field that you'll see, you'll actually be looking at a aggregation of all the animals and human beings under a level of competence of certain people. And the more competent that person is going to be, the rest of the people are going to aggregate under him and start to imitate him. That's what serotonin does. It sets up the need for competence, and hence it sets up a need. It actually also determines the level of competence inside that cluster. And this is what's going on in this case. Capitalism defines success as more resources and bigger house and cars and money. So whoever is going to be more competent in getting that, people are going to try and imitate that. So people are going to try and imitate Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and whoever is a billionaire. And people are trying to become those people. And this is what's going on right now. This is a work of serotonin. And this is how the global philosophy sets the local psychology. And this is where the actual answer of, you know, how to actually deal with your inner depression is. If you actually divorce yourself from the global philosophy of capitalistic thought and go into your own philosophy of wherever you're actually from, in this case, this is why Islam becomes the biggest power, because it has all the actual philosophical answers. And it tunes into the local psychology in the most organic way. And it answers or defines the actual construct of value, which actually helps the whole human system. So if before capitalism, it was socialism, and you know, now we can see the neo-Marxist approach trying to define equality of genders, and they're making critical mistakes as to bring out collective individualism and identity politics game. And you know, you can see the games being played mostly in the egalitarian nations. We're trying to give equal opportunities, at the same time they're trying to fix equal outputs. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to go in that kind of a technical detail right now, but understand the actual problem, and that is to divorce yourself from a philosophy which does not answer your inner psychology. And that's common. But also understand how your inner system works, because you're subconsciously going to chase the most powerful alpha in whatever philosophy that is being practiced on the globe. And there's always going to be a singular philosophy, no matter what people say. There cannot be two different philosophies on the planet. And unless you understand how this alpha mechanism is set up as a radar inside every human being, you're always going to be confused as to, you know, my inner system says something else, my religion says something else, but you know, why is everyone chasing something totally different? And since everyone's going to be chasing that herd philosophy or the group think psychology is going to lead you towards chasing those answers which are not going to fulfill your inner demands. And that's why happiness is temporary and fulfillment is permanent. And capitalism does not give you any sort of fulfillment. And people should know that thinking on their own selves is going to make them reach their inner goals defined or demanded by their inner system, not chasing somebody else's thought. Whenever they're going to chase somebody else's thought, they're always going to have a contradiction between their inner system and whoever's opinion they're trying to chase, because nobody has the answers to the global the demands of the inner workings of the human system. And this is why we needed an external almighty creator to come in and answer all the questions. Why do you think the holy books still dictate the philosophy of the Judeo-Christian civilization and the Islamic civilization, because they have the deeper answers, which are way more correct than any man's opinion is going to be a reaction to the world's situation.